Have you ever wondered why certain people appear in your life? Do you believe in coincidences or destiny? Let's ponder the fact that no one crosses your path by chance. Let's investigate this theme through Stoic teachings. Aiding in understanding the direction of your life with each decision, each encounter can be part of a plan. Next, let's delve into 10 lessons. Infallible lessons that will help you create a state of unperturbability that nothing can disturb. By understanding that nothing happens by chance, you acquire inner peace. Your discipline understands that every experience and individual has a purpose, can be a strong motivation to maintain focus and resolve on the historical journey. These lessons will show us how to maintain focus and determination on the historical journey, that each encounter has a specific purpose, and that the ability to shape your destiny resides in you, just waiting to be exercised. Let's start with chance. They will enable you to understand the destiny and trajectory of your existence through the Stoic principles that I will suggest. If this is your first time visiting my channel, I ask that you support me by subscribing. Favorite the video so that I can continue producing more videos in the future. The words are intended to be a remedy for the soul, a reminder that adversity is an opportunity, and that strength resides within you, waiting to be awakened, regardless of your efforts. If you are going through a personal crisis, dealing with losses, or simply needing a boost of encouragement in your life, these lessons can be helpful. We are here to provide you with support, motivation, and hope in light of the demonstrated reality. In this journey called life, a truth unfolds with clarity. It comes into your life by chance. Each encounter, each connection has a specific purpose. It is an echo of destiny that reminds us we are intertwined in a cosmic tapestry of experiences and lessons. I remember once in a moment of despair when I found myself caught up in a chaotic situation. I was caught in a storm of uncertainties, believing that I could control every aspect of my life, but I quickly realized it was just an illusion. After the defeat, the ease of control became my lifeline. I understood that certain people come into my life to challenge me and push me out of my comfort zone. Comfort and forcing me to evolve, even when trying to resist, a lesson always wins me over. On its journey to me, I learned to reflect on purpose. Behind every encounter, from the friend who offers me unconditional support in times of adversity, to the stranger who offers me unexpected help, provides a completely innovative perspective on life. Everyone, even those who disappointed me, have something to teach me. The wounds in my heart left an eternal mark on my soul, reminding me of my own strength. Resilience in life is a chaotic ballet of unexpected events and twists. We don't have control over all situations, but we can manage them. The occurrence of these situations is an art that I have refined over the years. By learning to move with the current instead of fighting against it, we free ourselves from the burden of fear and allows us to find tranquility amidst the chaos of each relationship. What is fleeting or persistent in valuable lessons, even in moments of suffering and disappointment? We can discover a value. We can find a treasure of wisdom if we are happy to see beyond suffering and appreciate the lessons they bring us. The search for the present is the first step towards personal development and the evolution of the soul. The focus on the present is the key to personal growth and the evolution of the soul. The mantra that guides my existence is, "The past is gone, and the future is a blank canvas." The only thing that really matters is the present moment. Each experience interaction is a chance to learn and evolve to become more human, said the Stoic philosopher Epictetus. Don't expect things to happen exactly as you want, even if that's what you desire. How it happens, and your life will develop positively on this journey of self-discovery. Never forget that no one enters your life by chance. Each experience has a divine purpose. Just open your heart and allow it. Allow the universe to guide you on your journey, as two qualities attract relationships. Each encounter, each interaction is authentic in the vast and enigmatic tapestry of life. Each interaction is authentic. It is imbued with a purpose that goes beyond mere chance, diving into the fabric of my life. I am in my existence, and I realize that no one enters my life by chance. Each individual who crosses my path has a clear purpose, a message that encourages me to reflect and evolve. Improving virtue within myself becomes the beacon that guides my relationships, the anchor that ensures their stability. Careful, how can I expect to establish distinct relationships if I do not cultivate virtue within myself? It works like a magnet, attracting those who appreciate integrity and compassion. I remember instantly feeling attracted to people who also appreciate integrity. In my life, I have been confronted with the temptation to choose an easier path. My integrity extends like an insurmountable barrier, reminding me that true value lies in consistency. Among my ideas, words, and actions, I seek honesty and integrity. In a world where superficiality and shallowness are predominant, integrity in my interactions becomes an unwavering commitment. Frequently, falsehood stands out, determined to be a beacon of comfort. I remember a conversation where falsehood prevailed. Even in the face of attempts to hide the truth, I chose transparency, aware that only through it do we understand how to reach the truth. Robust bridges and consolidated bonds are established, valuing friendship based on trust and mutual respect. It asserts as a non-negotiable principle that empty relationships lack protection. Affection and fondness fade in the face of true friendship. I remember the support I received, the comforting presence of an unconditional friend in times of adversity. With your understanding gaze, you remind me that true value lies in the bonds that connect us through mutual trust. What keeps us in times of adversity is being compassionate and empathetic with those around us, functioning as a lifelong mandate. In a world of constant transformation and dehumanization, compassion emerges as a restorative remedy, a bridge that connects hearts and souls. I remember the selfless gesture of a stranger the moment their gaze caught my attention, empathetic, who overcame the obstacles of anonymity, reminding me that true value lies in the way we relate to others. At every stage of our journey, we leave a trail of love and compassion, which ends by diving into the ocean. Throughout my life, I am surrounded by relationships that go beyond chance, built on mutual respect, traits of virtue, integrity, trust, and compassion, in the words of the prophet. For the historian and philosopher Marcus Aurelius, the nobility of an individual is measured by the nobility of their heart and the nobility of their character. Let your actions happen in every encounter, in every relationship I choose. Virtue arises from love, remembering that no one enters my life without my consent, not by chance, but rather as a master who reflects the teachings I need to understand. To continue evolving and reaching my maximum potential, 3 by 3, the relevance of detachment in this confusing journey called life is an undeniable truth. It becomes evident that no one enters your life by chance. Each encounter, each bond, is a consequence of a process. The fabric has a purpose and meaning that goes beyond mere coincidence. Throughout my own journey, I realized the importance of emotional detachment, a lesson that takes various forms. Practicing emotional detachment is akin to learning to let go of a helium balloon. Seeing it rise to the endless sky, sometimes we cling to them. Situations with a desperate force, fearing to lose what we consider to be what defines us. But what happens when we face situations with a desperate force? When we release that fear and allow the flow of life to express itself? Remind me of when fear was released. At a crucial point in my life, when a relationship ended unexpectedly, instead of clinging to its remnants. Reminiscences of what once was decide to exercise emotional despair. We believe that people come and go from our lives for various reasons and that this person had already achieved their purpose in our lives. By choosing to suffer for what was no longer focused on the present, I opted to suffer for the past. The relationship taught me lessons of love, personal development, and self-discovery. The fact that people come in and out of our lives for various reasons is like opening a door to understanding the world. In the universe, some people appear to impart relevant teachings, while others come to teach us less significant lessons, challenge and assist in our development, and just to share a fleeting moment of connection. Letting go of what no longer benefits us is making room for new experiences and people who bring us new perspectives, aligned with our development and well-being. Valuing relationships without being emotionally dependent on them is like appreciating relationships without being emotionally dependent on them. We don't need the beauty of a flower to feel complete, as relationships are a gift. However, When we cling to them as if they were our only source of joy and contentment, we forget our true purpose. I gained self-confidence and learned to tend to my own inner garden, nurturing my happiness and fulfillment internally instead of seeking them externally. Focusing on personal development at the expense of fleeting relationships is like cultivating seeds of wisdom in the garden of our soul. Each experience, each encounter is a chance to learn, grow, and progress instead of settling. By clinging to fleeting connections, I commit to fostering my own development, cultivating an intense and rigorous relationship. Fidelity to my relationship with myself, as described by the philosopher Epictetus. The importance of a relationship is the lesson it provides us, not just during its duration. Emotional detachment is accepting the uncertainty of life with bravery and confidence, aware that life is uncertain. Each encounter and each goodbye are parts of a greater plan that surpasses our understanding. No one enters your life alone. Life doesn't happen by chance. Each individual, each experience is a thread in the tapestry of your life, woven with love and purpose. Learning to accept emotional detachment is opening the way to a universe of endless possibilities. Where love is the only limitation, the fullness and wisdom radiate in every corner of your room. The power of wisdom. Many affirm that each encounter and each experience is specifically meant to teach us something and leave an unforgettable legacy. I understand that no one enters your life by chance. Each individual who crosses your path has a mission, a lesson to convey or assimilate. And in this journey of learning, each person has a purpose. By uncovering the power of will, it emerges as a beacon that lights the way. In relationships, it is essential to develop determination to overcome obstacles in relationships. I remember the moment I met Maria. Her smile was like the sun on a sunny day. The rain illuminated my world with its calm, but it also brought the rain with it. Challenges that tested my resilience in the face of long-distance obstacles. Despite the danger that threatened to separate us, I persisted through every barrier that strengthened my determination. Fighting to keep our connection alive, staying firm in our principles and values is crucial to establishing our connection. I remember a situation where I found myself in a dilemma between what you wanted and what I really wanted. Believing that it was not right, my principles served as an anchor, keeping me steady during the storm. Despite the challenging journey, I did not give in, as I knew it could compromise me. Not respecting my principles would be denying my own nature, and that I could not allow. The challenge of influencing our relationships is constant in a world full of viewpoints. When it comes to expectations, it's easy to get distracted. I remember when Juan, a friend, told me about his expectations. A friend tried to shape my romantic choices. Their advice was like storms trying to steer me off my path. But I persisted, listening to my inner voice above the external clamor. I was responsible for shaping my relationship, and I wouldn't let anyone else determine it, facing the conflicts within myself. The art of determination is something that is acquired over time. I remember an intense argument with my partner, filled with harsh words. With frayed nerves and raw emotions amidst the chaos, I took a deep breath and recorded myself for you. I recognized the importance of calm with every breath and gather my willpower, transforming the conflict into a chance for us to strengthen together and, in the end, emerge more robust than ever. United by the unbreakable bond of our joint determination to seek constructive solutions instead of succumbing to inaction, we are united by the common desire to seek constructive solutions. Resignation is the foundation of any steadfast relationship. I remember when I ended a relationship like that. An obstacle that seemed insurmountable in my friendship with Pablo. Instead of giving in to adversity, we sought to overcome it. Innovative solutions, exploring new methods to tackle our obstacles. In this process, we discovered a strength we were unaware of, uniting our hearts in a stronger bond. Deeper than before, the power of will guides us on the journey. Of relationships reminding us that each encounter is a chance to evolve. As the Stoic philosopher Seneca once stated, learning and love must be more intense. Will shapes destiny. Thoughts are the architects, and they are the ones who shape the future. Spiritually, I proceed with my will as my compass, navigating the endless ocean of human interactions, for I am aware that I cannot stop. Without a doubt, no one enters my life by chance, but rather through the practice of unconditional love. The practice of limitless love is like a melody that resonates in the depths of my soul, repeatedly reminding me that love is unconditional. No one enters my life by chance. Cultivating unconditional love for myself has been a path full of challenges. I accept my qualities and imperfections, embracing my lights and shadows. I remember when I understood that each experience, each mistake, was a first step towards fulfillment. Each triumph was a milestone on my journey towards self-knowledge during those moments of introspection. I understood that unconditional self-love did not mean disregarding my flaws, but rather accepting myself as I am, recognizing the humanity in each individual with compassion and benevolence. It has been a revealed experience that she realized behind every face there is a story, a world of emotions and experiences. In my daily interactions, I have acquired the ability to see beyond the masks we all wear, in search of the divine spark that we all possess. In every individual, from the lonely elder in the park to the child selling flowers on the street, everyone carries this essence, bringing with it an abundance of experiences that deserve to be recognized and appreciated, offering support and understanding without expecting anything in return. I've always remembered that day when a friend was going through a tough time. Without hesitation, I offered my shoulder for her to cry on and my ears to listen. I didn't expect gratitude or recognition. I just wanted to be there for her like a lighthouse in the storm. It was then that I realized that gratitude was not something I expected. Genuine love is selfless. Its essence lies in giving without expecting anything in return, forgiving faults and mistakes without expecting a reward. The act of forgiving the people around me has been a liberating action. We all make mistakes, stumble along the way, but forgiveness sets us free, allows us to release the burden of the past, and enables us to live the present with a light heart. Sometimes forgiving can be a challenge. It requires courage and humility. But every time I decide to forgive, I feel as if the burden of forgiveness increases. Anger and resentment are forgotten, making way for peace and reconciliation. Keeping myself open to love is keeping myself open to love. Love in all its unrestricted manifestations has become my greatest obstacle. You know, limits don't care about races, genders, or how they can be expressed in any form of expression. I remember a warm handshake, a gentle smile, and a gesture of generosity, when, in an instant, a stranger extended their hand to me and reminded me that, even in the darkness, it is still possible to see. Love is always there, waiting to be discovered. According to Marcus Aurelius, unconditional love does not wait. Don't seek reward, but rather offer. Don't promote your own benefit, but that of the beloved. Each experience of my unconditional love, each casual encounter that alters the direction of life, I find happiness, confirmation that no one enters my life by chance. Each connection has a specific purpose, destined to teach me something new and lead me closer to the fundamental truth that within the fabric of the universe there is a unity. All people are connected by invisible threads of unconditional love. Knowledge to accept what we cannot change in this journey called life. The truth that becomes clearer and clearer is that there is no chance, only coincidences. Hidden lessons in random events are as if the universe carefully weaves each encounter. Each experience shapes us and guides us towards our destiny. It is in this journey of farewell, discovery that the accessibility of what we cannot change transforms into a beacon that illuminates our journey. Sometimes learning the hardest way is the true way. Wisdom is being able to differentiate between what we can change and what we cannot. There are forces at play that are beyond our control, such as maritime conditions or the choices of others. However, what we have the ability to control is our response to these forces and our stance towards adversity. I remember a time when I held on to people with all my energy, as if I could prevent them from drifting away. Although some people tried to distance themselves from me, sooner or later, the time came when some people had to distance themselves. They disappeared from my existence without warning. leaving an agonizing void in my heart. So I understand that, despite not being able to change the fact that they left, I could change the way I saw them. I had the ability to change the way I recorded those experiences, allowing them to drive me to grow, focusing on what was to come. Control became a mantra for me, so I decided to channel all my energy into my own actions. With actions, I learned to love without attachment, offering my best without expecting a reward. In return, I recognized that the only person who truly has control is myself, even in the face of inevitable changes. When they entered my life, instead of fighting against them, I chose to welcome them with an open mind. Flexibility has become an essential part of my life. Best partner, enabling me to adapt to new scenarios with grace and bravery. I identified that in periods of greatest instability reside the greatest lessons and the best chances for development. According to the words of the historical philosopher Marcus Aurelius, life is transformation. Accept what cannot be changed and find peace in the transformation. In that tranquility, find the strength to accept what cannot be changed. What was beyond my control to focus on what was under my control, in order to adapt with adaptability to inevitable changes, and to appreciate the chances for development that arose in adverse times. Therefore, dear friend, don't forget to value the opportunities for growth that arise in adverse times. No one enters your life by chance. Each encounter, each farewell, each encounter, the experience was meticulously planned to lead you to your highest version. Accept what cannot be changed and focus on what can be changed. Focus on what is possible and accept the changes bravely on this journey of self-discovery. On this journey of self-discovery, you will discover the same. 7. The wisdom necessary to achieve your goal. I learned a lesson on this journey called life that echoes the wisdom of the ancients. Only encounters are destined for each meeting, whether temporary or lasting. It seems to be intertwined with hidden lines of destiny, woven with a purpose. It means that the universe conspires to provide exactly what you need at the right moment, even when you are not prepared. Don't expect gratitude to become the motto of this journey like the fertilizer that nourishes. Promote the nourishment of relationships, making them bloom with astonishing splendor. I learned to express gratitude for the opportunities, individuals who crossed my path, leaving marks that, despite being temporary, were painful. By the way, that unknown person who shared a story, the coworker who was always willing to help, even that fleeting love that declared the heart's capacity to beat with a simple word of encouragement. With an unimaginable intensity, recognizing the value of each experience, even the most painful ones, becomes a challenge. Of introspection, how can I not express my gratitude for those relationships that, even leaving marks on my soul, provided me with learning? People who learned lessons they wouldn't have otherwise, like a shooting star crossing the night sky. It appeared to clarify my path, even if for a brief moment, reminding me that adversity is a stone in the way. In the process of spiritual improvement, the lessons learned transform into invaluable treasures in the vault of my memory. Each experience, each disappointment, each obstacle becomes a step on the ladder of success. I am grateful for the tears shed by the hearts that contribute to my personal development. In the dark nights of the soul, where I found the strength to rise again, renew myself, reborn like a phoenix from my own ashes. Maintain a positive attitude. A positive thought about the future becomes my mantra, my guide in the midst of the storm. Believing that the best is yet to come is not just a belief but a truth rooted deep within our being. Each dawn brings the promise of new opportunities for me. I find new plots to be created, and on each blank page, I find the motivation to continue. To move forward, to persist in the belief in the transformative power of love and gratitude. Expressing gratitude to loved ones is an act of love in itself, just as not thanking those who have been present in our lives. With me in good times and bad, sharing laughter and tears, dreams and dreams. Each word of motivation, each gesture of affection, is a reminder that life is beautiful. The true value of life lies in human relationships, in the bonds that connect us mutually, as described by an ancient poet. The lesson that comes to me is that gratitude is the secret that opens the doors to happiness. And this is true in gratitude. I find the solution to change my perceptions, to recognize the beauty in adversity, and find the light in the darkness. Because in the end, life is a valuable gift that deserves to be appreciated, celebrated in its fullness, with a grateful heart and an open mind to the countless possibilities that the future holds. The future holds for us that patience is the path to the soul of every individual who crosses our path. The journey, whether transient or persistent, carries a purpose. Cultivating gratitude becomes a lesson or a blessing that enriches your journey, essential instrument to make the most of life's journey, recognizing the beauty and the variety of connections that life provides, from those who stay with us for a brief moment to those who remain forever. I remember a sunny morning when I met an elderly man in the park, whose soul was deeply rooted. The countenance conveyed the wisdom forged by time, and his words echoed throughout the surroundings. Although our encounter was brief, his advice lingers in my mind. He didn't enter my life by chance, like a lighthouse in the darkness. His presence was a gift from chance to remind me of the importance of appreciating every moment and interaction. Even though painful experiences are fleeting, they have their place in this world. Although they initially seem like insurmountable challenges, over time, we come to understand their importance. Value of transformation, akin to storms that sweep through the landscape to make way for a clear sky in moments of adversity. They fortify us and teach us lessons that otherwise we would not have understood. Record of a relationship that ended, leaving an intense pain in my heart for a long time, pain unable to see beyond the morning. But with the passage of time, this experience transforms, became a beacon of wisdom that illuminated my journey. I learned to appreciate my own strength and to identify my strengths, limitations and openness to new opportunities in every connection, whether brief or prolonged, specifically a lesson. Hoping to be revealed, gratitude invites us to observe each experience with eyes of admiration. Gratitude, regularizing the value derived from each moment. As Marcus Aurelius said, upon waking in the morning, affirm the inherent value of each moment. Upon waking, reflect on the specific importance of being alive, breathing, and contemplating. Enjoy and love with an eye towards the future, maintaining an optimistic outlook. It becomes a powerful driving force to believe that the best is yet to come, empowering us to overcome obstacles with determination, persistence, and optimism in every new connection, in every new chapter of our story. History offers us a chance to evolve, learn, and love more fully, expressing gratitude to our loved ones. Dear ones, becoming a gesture of love and consideration in every word and gesture can plant feelings of gratitude. In grateful hearts, flowers bloom. For, in the end, gratitude is a bond that unites our hearts in an unforgettable embrace of love and connection on this journey. Life, every encounter, every experience, every relationship is a gift that we encourage each other to evolve, learn, and love more fully. No one comes into your presence without your permission. All the people who cross your path do so with a divine purpose that transcends time and space. Therefore, open your heart. Put gratitude into practice and allow love to permeate every step of your journey. Learning from past relationships is not a coincidence, my friend. On the vast tapestry of life, each thread is meticulously woven. This meeting intends to teach us something valuable, as if the universe conspired in our favor. Meetings that seem casual, but are, in reality, threads of wisdom intertwined in the tear of knowledge. Destiny, allow me to guide you on a journey through the lessons I've drawn from past relationships, a journey that teaches me so much. This made me understand that no one entered my life by chance, and, from the depths of my being, I reflected on each interaction. Each one who crossed my path, I extracted pearls of wisdom that I now keep as treasures. Previous relationships are like textbooks of life, filled with lessons waiting to be decoded. I remember a relationship in which I gave myself completely only to be deeply hurt, but this time, I wasn't so deeply wounded. With experience, and unwavering wisdom emerged, and I learned to set clear boundaries to protect my heart. Without completely shutting down behavior patterns, see how I recognize them. The moments when my insecurities made me act impulsively were like constellations in the sky of my experience. In a way, when I let fear guide my choices instead of self-love, but it's important to consider those moments. The power to alter patterns granted me the ability to break the chains that once kept me in destructive cycles. The subtle warnings of the universe, I now see them as beacons. In the darkness, the smallest details that once went unnoticed now speak to me loud and clear, guiding me away from their actions, harmful situations, and towards genuine and healthy relationships. Personal evolution is a hidden treasure in the heart of every challenge, every disappointment, every moment of joy. Happiness and every tear shed contributed to my progress as a person, something I wouldn't change for a second. Even though each one has shaped the person I am today, I quote Seneca by saying that there is not even one. The wind is in favor of the boat that doesn't know where it's going, but now, equipped with the wisdom of my relationships, I know where I'm going. I navigate firmly towards a future of healthier and more fulfilling relationships, no longer a victim of chance, but I am the builder of my own relational destiny. So, my friend, remember that. No one ever enters your life by chance. Every encounter is a lesson. Every encounter is a learning opportunity. Consider each experience as a chance for growth. Embrace each experience with gratitude. Understand, and you will see how the universe works in your favor, weaving the tapestry of your existence with threads of love and learning. Ninth, the relevance of self-control. Self-control emerges as a beacon that illuminates the path, guides our interactions like a lifeguard amid the emotional storm. Learning to control emotions becomes an art when it comes to maintaining serenity in relationships. I remember when I learned to control my emotions. There was a moment when anger threatened to take over me with a close friend. But in that moment, anger did not take over me. I remembered the importance of taking a pause, breathing deeply, and considering the words I was about to say. This interruption changed the dynamics of the conflict, enabling a more productive dialogue and a more effective resolution. The best way to avoid impulsive reactions is like controlling the force of a river. In a professional environment, I find myself in a situation where a colleague made severe criticisms of my work. When I started working, my first reaction was to defend myself with all my might. But then my reaction changed. I remembered that self-control does not imply weakness, but rather wisdom, and I chose to listen to their opinions. From an open perspective, which not only eased the conflict but also strengthened our professional relationship. Exercising moderation in our feelings and actions is like balancing on a tightrope during a romantic relationship. I faced the temptation to completely surrender to the ecstasy of love, but I understood that moderation is the key to success. The key to maintaining emotional stability is learning to enjoy passion without neglecting emotional balance, from the perspective of my independence and self-esteem, thus establishing a stronger and more lasting connection. Learn to deal with independence and self-esteem. Dealing with stress and anxiety in a healthy way is like tending to a garden during a storm in a time of crisis. In the workplace, when the demands seemed insurmountable, I turned to mindfulness practice to find serenity amidst the turmoil. By setting aside a few minutes each day to focus on the present moment, I was able to overcome obstacles more easily. Clear mindset and resolution, turning stress into an opportunity for growth. Being aware of our reactions and making conscious choices instead of acting on impulse is like taking control of our life. In the midst of an intense family debate, I found myself on the verge of becoming a wild horse. I let myself be carried away by the current of emotions, but I remembered the Stoic saying, "Don't worry about what has already passed. Don't worry about what is to come. Live in the present moment." This perception allowed me to pause and analyze my emotions and choose a more sensible and understanding reaction in each situation. In one of those moments, self-control emerges as the rudder that steers my boat through turbulent seas. Each encounter, the challenge transforms into an opportunity to enhance this virtue, reminding me that no one reaches my level. Life doesn't happen by chance, but works like a mirror reflecting the lessons I must assimilate. In this ballet of intertwined destinies, self-control becomes my most loyal ally, guiding me to a safe harbor. 11. The relevance of setting boundaries with wisdom and serenity. On this journey of deep connections, I realized the importance of setting boundaries. Setting boundaries is like the rudder that steers my boat through the unstable waters of fate. Recognizing limits is like being aware of your limitations. The need to establish clear boundaries in our relationships is like finding a lighthouse in the dark. I discovered this when I was in a dark environment. During a previous relationship, I found myself constantly giving in, allowing my boundaries to be crossed. Without boundaries, relationships are dissolved by the waves of commitment, can turn into an ocean of hurt and emotional wear. Establishing my own personal boundaries is crucial for setting my own limits. It was an act of self-knowledge and self-empowerment, where I decided that my time, my space, and my energy were sacred. The effective communication of these boundaries, which should be preserved as valuable treasures, was a challenge in the process. Initially, however, it was realized that it was crucial to preserve genuine and rewarding relationships. The appreciation of boundaries is not limited to my own. I learned the importance of respecting others' boundaries. I remember a situation where a friend revealed a secret to me, and despite not having permission, I uncovered it. Although curiosity consumed me, I remained resolute in maintaining the confidentiality of that little person. An act of respect enhanced our friendship and fostered a connection of trust between us. It's difficult for us to maintain the firm protection of our boundaries, especially when we face adverse situations. I faced resistance from others, but I understood that my emotional well-being outweighed any temporary discomfort. There were moments when I felt powerless. I had to distance myself from individuals who were not ready to respect my boundaries, even though it caused me discomfort. Despite being painful, it was liberating to understand that I cannot control the actions of others. I understood that I can respond and safeguard my own sacred space. To maintain balanced and respectful relationships, it is crucial to set healthy boundaries. Marcus Aurelius, historian and philosopher, stated that self-respect is the cornerstone of all virtues on the vast tapestry of life. Each connection is woven with meticulousness and purpose, and by setting clear boundaries, I can preserve balance and the synchronicity in relationships that go beyond chance and transform into shared destinies. Empathy in the vast expanse of life exists an invisible line that connects our hearts. Destinies recording for us that no one enters our lives by mere chance is a principle we must follow. I have often felt that the universe conspired in my favor to impart its deepest wisdom through the stars. In the most banal and common encounters, the virtue of empathy stands out as a virtue. The guiding light on this journey is the art of feeling the other, of walking together. Even when the journey is arduous and filled with obstacles, cultivating empathy is not merely an individual action. I remember a rainy afternoon when benevolence was a way for me to connect with the human essence that pulses within me. When I re-encountered an old friend, his eyes that once sparkled now mirrored internal storms without the need for external expression. In other words, his body language told me a story of suffering and desolation in that moment. I decided to ignore it, not just with my ears, but with my soul immersed in your universe. Sharing your tears as if they were mine, providing you with a safe haven during the storm. Active participation is the secret that unlocks the heart when delving into another individual's story. Total attention not only listens to their words, but also to their whispers. The pauses full of meaning and the moans of your soul. This competence converts mundane dialogues into intense dialogues, generating profound conversations, bridges of understanding that transcend the limits of time and space. Putting oneself in the position of the other is the act of putting oneself in their place. Supreme expression of generosity in a society obsessed with the self. Choosing to see the world through someone else's eyes is an act of generosity. I remember a situation where a stranger approached me on the street with a face full of anguish. His words had a revolutionary impact on me. They were a tangle of despair, but his cry was universal. He longed for understanding. In that moment, I chose to set aside my ego and embrace their humanity as we shared our narratives. We discovered that our scars were sisters, shaped by the same invisible forces that mold our existences. Providing emotional support is like building a bridge over turbulent seas in times of suffering. During the storm, our souls seek an anchor, a friendly hand to console us. When we feel adrift, a dear friend went through a period of loss. Instead of offering empty words of comfort, I chose to provide my unconditional presence in silence. We find comfort in the simplicity of being, constantly reminding ourselves that we are never isolated from each other. Realizing that empathy intensifies interpersonal relationships is comforting. Understanding that the essence of humanity is social, intertwined in an invisible network. Connections that transcend time and space. Each gesture of empathy, no matter how small, is capable of strengthening connections. In the words of the philosopher, the threads that connect us form a network of mutual understanding and unwavering solidarity. Epictetus the Stoic said that empathy is the universal language of the heart, moral compass that guides our actions, reminding us that in a world where every move represents a decision, true freedom lies in every choice. The magnitude lies in the way we choose to treat others. So, dear friend, never forget each encounter. The connection is filled with purpose. No one enters your life by chance. I have acquired a truth that resonates with the firmness of an echo on the vast tapestry of life. You don't arrive at life by chance. Each encounter, each connection, has a purpose. Imbued with a purpose that goes beyond mere chance, effective communication is the bond that connects us. To decipher the mystery of these interactions, the practice of frank and sincere communication is established as the foundation. I remember an occasion when, after years of silent coexistence, after years of silent coexistence, after years of silent coexistence, we were able to establish more genuine bonds. I dared to throw open the doors of my soul and share my innermost desires with a longtime friend. By expressing my ideas and emotions clearly and respectfully, I discovered a new dimension in our relationship, which became stronger. For clarity and trust. However, communication goes beyond the simple expression of oneself. It also encompasses the art of conveying messages. Responding actively to others during a solitary journey through unknown territories. I found myself in a discussion with a stranger who recounted their experiences with touching sincerity. By confirming his experiences and demonstrating empathy through my careful listening, his experiences were validated. Connections of understanding emerged that transcended the boundaries of the unknown, reminding me that each person is unique and singular. Each person is a collection of stories that seek to unravel the inevitable conflicts. All human relationships find their solution through constructive dialogue and constructive listening. I remember a heated clash with a family member, where words turned into weapons and hearts became weapons too. However, by embracing the Stoic philosophy that understanding is the key to wisdom, they closed themselves off to understanding. Anger is often more damaging than the insult that triggered it. I chose to direct my energy towards conversation. The search for mutually beneficial solutions was the process through which we transformed our organization. Discord turns into an even stronger bond, forged in the construction of a common understanding. Communication reveals itself as the means that leads us to connection and mutual understanding in the splendor of a bond. Lively conversation with a stranger in a cafe, or the silent embrace we share with a friend in moments of relaxation. Amidst my pain, I observe the subtle dance of souls that cross paths and recognize each other through divine art. In my quest to understand human interconnectedness, I realize that every individual who crosses my path has a connection with me. The path is traveled with a well-defined goal, and efficient communication acts as a beacon. The Stoic philosopher, in his words, illuminates our path to genuine encounter. True greatness lies in the ability to forgive and understand in that moment. In this context, the ability to communicate with authenticity and transparency presents itself as an art, the magic key that enables us to enter destiny and understand the true meaning of our lives. Human relationships, 14. My dear friend, authenticity is the map that guides our interactions, the lighthouse that illuminates our interactions. I remember an occasion when I was hesitant to expose my true self out of fear of being judged. Not being accepted, I hid parts of myself, but do you know what happened? The relationship dissolved in the mist of forgetfulness. That's when I realized that being authentic is the only way to happiness. It's like watering the garden of sincerity and transparency. We convey trust by expressing our deepest thoughts, by exposing our vulnerabilities without fear. I remember a conversation where we built unbreakable bridges between hearts. I remember a conversation where we built unbreakable bridges between hearts. It was in that moment of sincerity that a superficial friendship became a bond. A genuine connection emerged. Cultivating self-confidence is like reinforcing the foundations of a building, knowing that regardless of what happens, we will remain loyal to our values and principles. I remember when I was a child, and I remember my values and principles. I faced a crossroads where the pressure of the world sought to subjugate my essence, but by holding on to what truly mattered, I managed to resist. I found an inner strength that I had never realized I had, appreciating the beauty of diversity. And the individuality of each person is like observing a sky full of stars. It has its own light, with stories, passions, and dreams that set it apart. I remember when I noticed that the magnitude lay in the variety and abundance of colors and tones that each person possesses, contributes to the tapestry of life. And it was then that I realized that authenticity is the foundation of authenticity. Establishing solid and relevant relationships is the thread that connects the pieces of our lives, experiences that create a tapestry of love, friendship, and understanding. As Seneca said, in life there are no adventures or misadventures, only experiences and the way we face them. And I tell you that the way we face them is what makes the difference. Living authentically means allowing ourselves to fully embrace these experiences, welcoming them. Each encounter as a unique piece in the assembly of our destiny. By practicing altruism throughout life, I realized that each encounter is a learning opportunity. All interactions are intertwined in the fabric of our destiny with a clear and established purpose. No one enters your life without a clear and established purpose. By mere chance, every individual who crosses your path, from the neighbor who greets you in the morning to the stranger who offers help at night, is a casual encounter. The practice of altruism on the street has the potential to be a thread in the fabric of your life. It emerges like a bright light in this vast ocean of human relationships, cultivating mutual understanding. The lesson of serving others without expecting anything in return is a teaching I acquired concretely in a situation that I will never forget from a few years ago, while waiting at a train station. Upon seeing an elderly woman carrying heavy bags on the platform, without hesitation, I approached and offered my assistance. Her wrinkled and trembling hands grasped mine with gratitude, and in that moment I realized that my action was not insignificant. Casualty, but a small gesture of kindness aimed at reinforcing our human bond. Supporting and assisting those around us becomes a moral obligation that enriches both the receiver and the giver. I remember this when I helped and supported someone. On one occasion, seeing a coworker dealing with an exhausting task, I decided to offer my help. The expression of gratitude in his eyes not only filled me with personal satisfaction, but also with joy. Moreover, our bond was strengthened and reminded us of the importance of cooperation and mutual support on life's journey. It aids in the improvement of the community and society as a whole, becoming a sacred duty and a responsibility, shared in a way that goes beyond egocentrism and prompts us to reflect on the collective good. I remember an experience. When I chose to dedicate my time to volunteering at an animal shelter, my life underwent a significant change. Each bark of gratitude, each look of hope in the eyes of those unprotected beings reminded me that love is fundamental. The true meaning of existence lies in selfless service to others, recognizing that altruism strengthens our connection with others and our personal satisfaction are profound truths that I have experienced in various situations. Situations that range from the simple act of opening the door for a stranger to more complex situations like holding the door for a stranger. Each gesture of kindness and generosity contributes to the reconstruction of communities affected by natural disasters. Compassion strengthens the bonds that unite us as humans and fills us with a sense of inner peace. It is an indescribable joy to practice small acts of generosity in our daily lives to make the world a better place. Making the world a better place is our daily goal, the motto that guides our steps in the right direction. According to the Stoic philosopher Marcus Aurelius, life is a journey. Generosity implies offering more than you have, while arrogance implies offering less than you should. May these words resonate in our hearts, motivating us to be catalysts of transformation and hope in a world that so desperately needs it. Humility is essential in the fabric of every thread of life. Each interaction, each moment has a purpose. The idea that no one enters your life by chance is more than just a simple assumption. A simple motivational phrase is a reality deeply rooted in human experience and human knowledge. At the heart of this truth lies the virtue of humility, a virtue so powerful and often overlooked. The undervaluation of the glue that binds our relationships and provides us with valuable lessons along the way. I am on my life journey practicing this virtue consciously. Recognizing my limitations and mistakes in a conscious and reflective manner has been a learning journey. Self-discovery in a world where perfection seems to be the standard, admitting my flaws has been a challenge for me. An act of bravery and sincerity with oneself, instead of hiding my flaws behind a facade of arrogance. With humility, aware that they are part of my personal evolution. By recognizing my limitations, I also learn to embrace the assistance and support of others with gratitude. People who enter my life, whether for a brief moment or a more lasting connection, always have something to teach me from the very beginning. From the friend who offers me a shoulder in difficult times to the mentor who shares their wisdom, each interaction is a unique experience. Opportunity for learning and development, recognizing the variety of skills and experiences that each person brings. Another crucial characteristic is cultivating humility in my interactions in a world full of diverse individuals, each with their own peculiarities. Learning to value differences adds significant value to my life. Whether in group work or a casual chat, I meet unimaginable people. We find beauty in the diversity that surrounds us, but we must avoid arrogance and selfishness. A continuous challenge in the pursuit of humility, in a world that often values independence and self-sufficiency. Staying steadfast in humility requires conscious practice, but with each passing day. When the ego tries to obscure my perception, I remember the wise words of Marcus Aurelius. The greatness of humanity lies in its simplicity. Each individual is unique, and I recognize that humility not only makes me more open to learning and personal growth, but also enhances my capacity to learn and evolve. Not only establishes relationships, but also intensifies the bonds I share with others. When I abandon my selfishness and allow myself to learn from the lessons the universe provides me, I discover a deeper connection. Deep connection with the people around me, instead of seeing others as rivals. I see them as companions on this journey of life, each playing their own role. Acting with humility is more than a virtue. It is a journey towards a more complete and meaningful life. I acknowledge my limitations and accept help from others with humility in my relationships. I appreciate the diversity that each person brings. I avoid arrogance and egocentrism, and I strive to be grateful. I am open to learning and evolving with every interaction, because in the end, no one enters my life by chance. Each encounter has a specific purpose, and every individual who crosses my path is a master in their own way. Forgiveness is a strong and liberating act that has allowed me to delve into its depths, investigating its nature and observing its capacity for transformation, practicing forgiveness towards those who hurt me. The past was an emotional journey, but one that was worth it, I remember. I experienced a situation where I was deceived by a person I trusted. The pain was deep and the resentment was intense. However, by forgiving, I not only freed myself, but also the other person. However, I also freed myself from the burden of resentment that was holding me back. Forgiving is not a simple task. The elimination of emotional debts from our list is a constant commitment. In my daily practice of compassion for myself and others, I realized that forgiving did not imply condoning the mistake. The behavior of those who hurt me, instead of freeing me from the emotional weight I carried, was a demonstration of love. A conscious choice to leave the past behind and allow inner peace by cultivating compassion for oneself. For those who hurt us, we give ourselves and others the chance to grow and heal. I remember a situation where we allowed ourselves and others the space for growth and healing. I had a difficult conversation with a friend who deeply hurt me, instead of holding on to resentment. By choosing to practice compassion and seek to understand his perspective, I realized that by acting this way, I not only strengthened our relationship, but also enhanced our mutual understanding. But I also nurtured my inner peace. I value that inner peace. The Stoic philosopher once stated that it is fundamental in our pursuit of forgiveness. Marcus Aurelius, the true genius, lies in forgiving those who do not deserve our forgiveness when we forgive. Understanding that we cannot change the past, but we can shape how it impacts us in the present, is an act of empathy, empowerment, a recognition of our ability to choose peace instead of resentment, compassion instead of revenge. Bitterness. No one enters your life by chance. Each encounter, each experience brings us a unique baggage, provides the chance to practice forgiveness, freeing ourselves from resentment and bitterness, cultivating compassion and understanding. Value the inner peace that arises from forgiving and letting go of the past. Therefore, move on, forgive, and be free. Commitment involves inner peace, even if it sometimes seems otherwise. Paths don't cross simply by chance. Behind every encounter, there is a reason, a lesson, and a commitment to be fulfilled. Accepting the relevance of commitment implies considering that each relationship has its own commitment. Whether it is friendly, loving, or professional, it is not just a mere twist of fate, but a chance to grow. Expand learning and sharing, staying true to our commitments. It is essential to take on responsibilities to establish tense and relevant relationships when we promise something. It doesn't matter if it's a favor, a meeting, or a project, we are establishing a pact of trust with each other. I remember that occasion. I committed to helping my friend Pablo move, even in the face of challenges and exhaustion, fulfilling my promise. Thus, I demonstrate my loyalty and commitment to him. Showing loyalty to those we appreciate is an act of loyalty, act of nobility that reinforces emotional relationships and encourages reciprocity. In my romantic relationship, I learned that commitment goes beyond words or promises. It materializes in actions, ensuring presence in good and bad times, supporting and being supported. Without restrictions, the challenges and obstacles that may arise along the way represents a demonstration of maturity and resilience in any professional relationship. I encountered several obstacles alongside my colleagues, from tight deadlines to complex tasks. All the challenges were opportunities to showcase our creativity. Our dedication to the project and our team allowed us to overcome every obstacle. We strengthened our unity and mutual trust in the face of adversity, valuing stability. It's about considering the transformative power of love, friendship, and mutual commitment in relationships. Seneca stated that it's not that we have little time, but that we are wasting a lot. A meaningful relationship requires time, energy, and dedication, but the rewards are limitless with unconditional love. Mutual trust and an intense sense of belonging don't happen by chance. No one enters your life by chance. Each encounter, each relationship is unique. Each commitment has a specific objective. Understanding the relevance of commitment is embracing the challenge of making commitments. Develop, learn, and love in a universe where each interaction represents a chance for growth. As we transcend on this path, we tread by Stoic principles in our interactions. It is crucial to understand that it is essential to understand that it is essential. Each individual who enters our life is a teacher, a mirror reflecting parts of ourselves that we need to identify. Valuing the stability and security that reciprocal commitment offers in relationships is recognizing the value of mutual commitment. As Seneca stated, the transformative power of love, friendship, and cooperation. The true commitment is not in the words we speak, but in the actions we take. Think about waking up every day with the same commitment. 10 apprentices. With a clear sense of purpose unaffected by unforeseen events, it seems almost indifferent to the noises around him and has an unwavering focus on what really matters. Although it may not be superhuman, this was the daily reality for one of the men. Marcus Aurelius, a Roman emperor and philosopher, was one of the most influential figures in ancient history. His and his personal notes, a collection that has endured for millennia, are not just a set of personal notes, reflections from an earlier period, but guidelines that continue to be applied to this day to maximize the power of knowledge. We highlight the importance of self-discipline amidst the turmoil of contemporary life in this video. a series of lessons that will help you maintain an unwavering attitude, ensuring that nothing can disturb your peace of mind. Have inner calm until the end, as we will share phrases of promise. Don't postpone your plans in the face of any obstacle, especially for your first visit here. I request that you subscribe to my channel and leave a like so that I can continue bringing more content like this. Useful lessons like remember that the challenge is temporary and that the strength of discipline resides in you. I'm waiting for your awakening, and before we begin, I have a challenge for you. Until the end, absorb the balance of CPIO. To start, define your daily goal and discover your talents. Don't think of principles as abstract concepts, but rather as practical tools for a more organized and fulfilling life. Stoicism shows us how to turn adversity into benefit, transforming turmoil into advantage, emotionally in serenity, and the unpredictability of life as a source of energy, according to Aurelius. The joy of your life is linked to the quality of your relationships, even if you feel stressed. Daily in search of inner peace or in pursuit of increasing your productivity, understands the Stoic path of existence, provides in-depth knowledge in a world full of continuous distractions and rewards. The virtues of wisdom, courage, and justice are the pillars of Stoic philosophy. Moderation, the only quality that cannot be attacked, is a virtue. Oro is dedicated not only to enduring life but also to making progress in it, regardless of what happens. So, are you ready to change the way you perceive and face life's obstacles? Stay strong. Stay tuned as we explore the powerful teachings of Marcus Aurelius and how they can be used to cultivate. Today, as we embark on this journey through Stoic philosophy and its profound principles, we are living a solid and disciplined life. The lessons of Marcus Aurelius at the heart of philosophy. The truth that discipline is discipline. Start discovering your purpose, but what does it really mean to find your purpose? It's about discovering what truly motivates you. What truly motivates you at your core, and how can you align your daily actions with that deeper calling? As Marcus Aurelius wrote, the universe is transforming our existence. Our thoughts shape it. Marcus Aurelius was known for his works on living in harmony with nature. In aesthetic terms, it means understanding one's role in the broader picture of things and acting in harmony with one's functions. For Marcus Aurelius, the goal was not limited to a lofty ideal, but to a set of virtues, a practical compass that guided every decision, from the most trivial to the most serious. He argues that understanding your own purpose is what motivates you to get out of bed in the morning. To deal with daily obstacles, it is necessary to stay firm when attempts invite you to flee. It doesn't refer to great victories or external praise, but rather to fulfilling the obligations that life presents to you. Executing each task with dedication and honesty in a current scenario. Often, discovering your purpose can seem overwhelming, as we live in a world full of alternatives and distractions, where Stoic wisdom can divert us from our true paths. It is here that Stoic wisdom is not only beneficial, but also necessary. As Marcus Aurelius stated, it is essential that one who has a reason to live can live. Stoicism teaches us to strip away the layers of superficial desires, instructing us to endure almost anything. Ephemeral sensations that allow us to identify what is truly crucial for our well-being and development, motivate us to seek emotions to reveal what is truly crucial for our development and well-being. Questioning what truly deserves my time and effort, and how my current actions impact the future, can assist in overall well-being and my personal growth by investigating how. Using this principle in our lives is a reflection on what naturally attracts us. Where do you feel naturally drawn? Do you feel a deep satisfaction? Or what challenges do you encourage to overcome? These are limited. Once practiced, your goal, the Stoic practice of daily reflection, becomes easier. Invaluable value for constantly monitoring your actions with your goal of saying no. Don't cling to what doesn't please you, but rather to what gives you the self-discipline necessary to lead a meaningful life. We take this idea from Marcus Aurelius and use it every day, questioning ourselves each dawn about what we should do. Over time, I have remained faithful to my purpose. The practice will not only promote self-discipline, but also make your life a journey filled with more meaning. When writing about self-discipline, Marcus Aurelius often addressed the subject of self-discipline. Valuing self-confidence is not just about self-sufficiency, but also about self-esteem, integral to the philosophy that highlights the relevance of personal responsibility and self-control. Marco Aurelius taught us that we should not worry about the future, but rather focus on the present. It's not about isolation. It's not about refusing help from others, but about understanding that the ultimate responsibility for our actions, responses, and evolution lies within ourselves. The idea of focusing on what is within ourselves is the foundation of Stoicism for us. Control is the ability to face challenges. The obstacles that life brings us. Don't expect things to happen exactly as you want, but rather, as they happen. According to Marcus Aurelius, by telling ourselves our story, we connect with our own essence. This principle teaches us to trust in our own strength and inner resilience, skills to deal with the uncertainties and adversities of life. It's about developing confidence, not through presumption but through competence and a deep understanding. By trusting in our own abilities and virtues, this self-sufficiency is liberating, sustaining. Currently, we live in an interconnected world where opinions and guidance are always available to us. However, Stoicism guides us to filter out the noise and trust our own judgment and reason to achieve happiness and personal fulfillment. Freedom begins with a clear understanding of a principle. Some things are within our control. Other times, we don't remind ourselves of Marcus Aurelius when we rely on ourselves. We gain autonomy in our decisions, or what enables us to make decisions that are in line with our values. According to our values and principles, instead of being swayed by external pressures or fleeting feelings, autonomy is fundamental to preserving personal integrity and leading a life that is true to ourselves. So, how can we maintain autonomy? We can start to place true trust in ourselves through simple steps, taking on commitments and responsibilities. Achieving them means setting personal goals and working towards them autonomously, dedicating time for reflection. Over time, about our choices and their connection to our core values. These actions reinforce our self-discipline, making us more resilient and grounded in the face of challenges. Marcus Aurelius always emphasized the strength of persistence to face not only the challenges of life, but also the adversities of life. Not only physically, but also mentally every day. This practice does not involve gigantic exercises triggered daily, sporadically, but with a constant and serene dedication to daily activities that, together, form a life. The discipline of the ocean waves inspires us to face life as it presents itself on the shore, as Marcus Aurelius affirms. For Marcus Aurelius, the Stoic idea of living in harmony with nature was his daily motto. He compels us not just to exist, but also to actively participate in life, contributing to the world through our actions. Our actions, even if they are small or everyday, seem to become more and more common each day. A new arena, not for great conflicts, but to demonstrate our commitment to our principles and obligations, is where we find ourselves. The consistency of daily work is the place where character is formed and proven. For this reason, Marcus Aurelius states that fire tests gold, adversity makes a man robust. In a world where distractions are numerous and motivations can be fleeting, the idea of showing up every day seems absurd. It makes even more sense when you feel inspired one day and completely lost the next. It's where Stoicism teaches us the importance of consistency. Every day a lesson or two is presented. What cultivates authentic discipline is not intensity, but the regularity of our actions. Doesn't mean that every day needs to be a triumph of productivity, but rather that we shouldn't let a single day pass by, unnoticed or unused, whether progressing in our professional journey or improving our well-being or deepening our bonds. Advancement in any field requires just a simple commitment. Frequently, we fail to show up every day. Moreover, we neglect to show up every day. Every day is intrinsically linked to the historical practice of mindfulness, of being present in the present, and carry out today's work without the burdens of yesterday's failures or the pains of past defeats. Future worries. Marco Aurelius wrote extensively about focusing on the present moment and accomplishing the tasks at hand. Take possession in the best possible way. As he once said, Don't wait for the future to be better. Make the present better. Be impeccable in your effort. This focus is what turns routine into ritual and effort into improvement. To cultivate this discipline, start slowly and determine what is meaningful to you. It can be as easy as writing a passage from the book you've been longing to write, doing a 5-minute workout. The scale doesn't transform us, but rather the time we dedicate to a loved one. When introducing yourself, discover how to manage your emotions and reveal your true potential. Access our Stoic pamphlet at www.artstoicapp.com/br or click the link below. Sign up now to get Lesson 3 and step out of your comfort zone. By committing and following through, you increase your willpower and establish the confidence that defines your personality. By adhering to this daily routine, you embody a Stoic faith, individual responsibility, and the constant pursuit of personal improvement. As mentioned earlier, as I said, Marco Aurelio, authentic joy lies in accepting the present as it is. Instead of being as you wish, you become a concrete example of the idea that anything is possible. Although we cannot control the outcomes, we can manage our efforts in the process. A consistent way of expressing ourselves provides us with the discipline necessary to live a life of meaning and contentment. The Stoic practice, strongly reinforced by Marcus Aurelius, goes beyond the simple idea of making life better. Deliberately complicated, it is about preparing for life's uncertainties, reinforcing resilience. According to Marcus Aurelius, deepening the appreciation for what one has is not an easy task. Marcus Aurelius, we do not have control over what happens to us, but we do have control over how we react to it. The Stoics argue that the experience of voluntary discomfort helps strengthen the mind against periods of discomfort. Life might force us to deal with discomforts, which could imply choosing to renounce some pleasures, facing physical obstacles, or simply practicing self-denial. Daily decisions are simple if you are accustomed to adversity. If unexpected adversities don't shake you, you're exercising your resilience muscles, so to speak, ensuring that you can overcome life's obstacles with a serene and balanced mind. But why embrace the unknown? When we feel uncomfortable in a world that constantly strives to provide us with comfort, the answer may lie in our attitude. The very nature of Stoic philosophy lies at the edges of frontier zones. By allowing ourselves to voluntarily experience less comfortable spaces, we not only test our limits, but also our abilities. We establish mental and emotional limits, but we also expand them. This practice is not a protection, but a change of perspective. Thinking of comfort as a luxury we can forgo if we choose to practice voluntary discomfort is also a way of thinking. When we cultivate gratitude, it's easy to take daily conveniences for granted. When we live without them from time to time, we start to value them more intensely. This can be as simple, like skipping a meal, which can increase your cost for the food you have, or choosing to walk instead of eating. Moreover, driving could intensify your gratitude for mobility and health. This brings us to the reality that many people live with it involuntarily. This connection can stimulate empathy, humility, and understanding. A deeper understanding of human nature, anchoring more firmly in the reality of the world we share with others. Therefore, to incorporate this practice into our lives, start small. Opt for something practical, like waking up an hour earlier than usual and restricting technology use for a day. Instead of opting for elevators or escalators, the key is not in the extent of discomfort, but in its frequency and duration. The underlying intention behind each act of voluntary discomfort is a step towards greater strength. Mindset and self-discipline lesson 4. You have control over your existence. This principle, we perceive the difference between what is and what is not under our control, encouraging us to focus our energy only on the former. A seemingly basic concept can radically change our way of facing the obstacles of existence. So what is really happening? Reducing anxiety and promoting a deeper sense of peace and resilience? According to Stoicism, our control primarily focuses on our actions, reactions, and evaluations. These are the domains where our thoughts, our will, and our responses occur. We are prepared to deal with any external factor, whether it be the weather, the actions of others, or events. Marcus Aurelius highlighted that direct control over global issues is beyond our direct control. Constantly, this point is highlighted in his Meditations. The phrase that gets irritated or disturbed is a sign of disturbance. For reasons beyond our control, it is not only useless but also detrimental to our well-being. The practice of the duality of control begins with this understanding, even though we can interfere with events. Although we cannot fully control external factors, the Stoic learns to accept them not passively but actively, as a liberating truth by focusing on our own actions and abandoning concern for others. By letting go of our tendency to cling to results, we can preserve our tranquility and effectiveness. No matter the situations, this does not imply that we become indifferent or detached from the world. Instead, we establish a more constructive commitment to it. We can focus our efforts on areas that can truly impact daily life by applying the dichotomy of control. Ask me if I have control over this before reacting to any circumstance. Otherwise, the Stoic practice is to let go and move on, which is easier said than done. This practice requires mindfulness and regular reminders that it is truly within our reach. Moreover, this practice requires practice and mindfulness. We have concrete consequences in the way we set goals and await results as we strive to achieve them. Achieving our goals ties our happiness or self-esteem to the accomplishment of our objectives. It's about preparing ourselves for outcomes that are determined by a variety of external factors. Stoicism teaches us to find satisfaction in frustration instead. We seek our own fulfillment in our commitment to our values and in the commitment we dedicate to Marcus Aurelius and others. The Stoic philosophers did not promise a life free of challenges. Instead, they promised a life full of challenges. I propose a method to preserve serenity and dignity, even in the face of life's fluctuations. When we apply this principle in our lives, we not only improve our own lives, but also those of others. We also have the ability to impact those around us with our example of serenity and resilience in the face of difficulties. The concept of life's inevitable uncertainties requires a deep understanding of individual responsibility and personal duty. Stoic dedication to self-mastery, instead of succumbing to a victim mentality where we feel vulnerable. As passive recipients of life's challenges, Stoicism encourages us to take control of our own lives. The empowerment of our perceptions and responses is crucial to the Stoic truth that our happiness is intrinsic. Mental tranquility is more influenced by our internal state than by external events. The goal is not to disregard external occurrences. There may be challenges or injustices that we encounter, but we need to shift our focus from what happens to us to how we react to them. Marcus Aurelius had the truth that each external event brings with it an option. By refusing to be victims, we reject the notion that our destiny is to be victims. Emotional well-being is affected by external factors. That is a reality. Freedom is a door that opens to greater personal growth and resilience when we apply this principle. When analyzing our usual responses in challenging situations, we tend to react immediately. External factors or third parties to blame for the expenditure of our energy, complaining about the situation instead of facing it. It's not about suppressing our feelings, but rather understanding them in a more profound way. Redirecting our energies in a more positive way implies considering that our energies can be more constructive, our pains and frustrations, while recognizing our ability to overcome them. Moreover, this Stoic lesson motivates us to progress. Each adversity as an opportunity to cultivate virtue and enhance our strength. The Persian character is essentially proactive and empowering. Lesson C: modify your thoughts. Challenges become opportunities, transforming feelings of helplessness into moments of empowerment. We can choose where we can assert our agency. As Marcus Aurelius stated, the power of the mind is limitless. When we focus on the essential, each obstacle transforms into evidence of our commitment to our principles, and a chance to showcase the qualities that define the ideal. By never assuming the position of a victim, we embody the Stoic ideal of justice. With emotional independence, we build an internal fortress of serenity and balance, from which we can defend ourselves against adverse emotional situations. in a more complete and free manner, according to Marcus Aurelius. We cannot encounter situations that nature has not prepared us to endure. This doesn't mean that nature hasn't prepared for us, not becoming insensitive or indifferent, but rather reaching a point where our happiness is no longer limited, be easily shaken by the ups and downs of life. In this way, we are not living under the influence of our circumstances, but in harmony with our highest principles. Marcus Aurelius advocated for the necessity of being profound, regardless of what life may bring us. This principle is not just a personal rule, but also a path to greater freedom and contentment in life. According to the Stoic perspective, he stated that happiness lies in action, not in desire. The result of controlling impulses through delaying gratification is not a consequence. Instead of denying pleasure, we seek a higher form of satisfaction that aligns with our values and goals. In the Stoic sense, long-term delayed gratification implies a postponement strategy of satisfying immediate desires to obtain more relevant rewards. It involves making choices that may not provide immediate pleasure, but lead to lasting results. As Marcus Aurelius taught us to have lasting well-being and personal growth, true control over ourselves is in the selection of where we focus our attention. This principle is especially important in our lives. In today's culture of instant everything, the ability to wait and postpone is scarce. The ability to trade something for something superior is rare and valuable to the Stoics. Marcus Aurelius believed that the practice of delayed gratification also involved maintaining control over one's own desires. He understood that submission to fleeting pleasures could result in a loss of freedom, as one becomes a slave. Instead, by practicing moderation and controlling your impulses, by making our decisions based on logic and foresight, we cultivate a life not only of fleeting pleasures but also of lasting joys. One can start implementing delayed gratification in daily life with simple habits. Choosing a simple meal can mean saving money instead of spending it impulsively, choosing healthy food instead of fast food, or dedicating time to studying or practicing a skill instead of recreational activities. Immediately, Marcus Aurelius suggested not to worry about external matters. You don't have control over each of those decisions, which reinforces the Stoic practice of prioritizing long-term benefits about comfort or short-term satisfaction. Moreover, the advantages of this practice. Extensive research in psychology supports the Stoic perspective, associating psychology with philosophy. Anxiety for better results in career, education, health, and interpersonal relationships. Those who have the ability to postpone immediate rewards tend to be more efficient in managing stress, achieving their goals, and living with quality. This concept goes beyond simply disregarding unfavorable comments. It refers to a healthier and more fulfilling life through the development of mental resilience, turning challenges into opportunities. We implemented a proactive and empowering strategy, seeing each barrier as an opportunity to strengthen our team, character, and reaffirm our commitment to our historical principles from Lesson 6. Fortitude in the face of adversity allows one to maintain firmness in their convictions and focus. They persist in their goals, even in the face of doubt and others' skepticism, according to the Stoics. The acceptance or rejection of others is beyond your control, therefore, it cannot be controlled. It is necessary for you to trust in something for personal validation or guidance, as Marcus Aurelius once stated. The philosopher-emperor does not seek the approval of others, but rather the approval of his own conscience. He wrote deeply about focusing only on actions and opinions under one's own control, highlighting that concentrating on actions and opinions under one's own control is more effective. Authentic peace is internal and cannot be disturbed by external evaluations. This Stoic indifference is not easily influenced. It's not about devaluing others, but about maintaining a locus of internal control that motivates us to filter out the noise that is not pleasant, does not meet our higher objectives, or is not in accordance with our principles. In practical terms, it is essential to ignore the critics in our contemporary world, where opinions are numerous and criticisms are frequent, are just a click away, which implies recognizing that, although constructive feedback can be valuable, negative feedback can also be useful. Well-founded criticism should not steer us off course, as Marcus Aurelius reminds us. Don't forget that every human being yearns to do good, but often lacks knowledge of how to proceed. This differentiation is essential. Stoicism instructs us to evaluate the origin and the intention. Most of the criticism we receive is well-informed, well-intentioned, and in tune with us, with our basic principles, and also by practicing this principle. It is necessary to build a personal philosophy strong enough to withstand external pressures. Confidence in your decisions and actions not out of presumption, but from a feeling of deep trust. Understanding your own principles and goals, as mirrored by Marcus Aurelius. Self-confidence begins with introspection. That's what Marcus Aurelius did every day, not only as an athlete but also as a man, not only as a ruler but as a human being in search of virtue in a complex world. The ability to disregard critics increases our emotional resilience, making us less reactive to criticism, unfavorable opinions, focusing more on our long-term perspective in a culture that usually highlights the ability to break free from the cycle of social validation and stay true to oneself is what commonly stands out. Lesson 7. Fundamental. Identify your main models of Stoic practice. The ability to disregard critics is as rare as it is powerful. By embracing it, we not only safeguard our mental space but also actively decide where to allocate our emotional energy. Not only do we safeguard our mental space, but we also actively decide where to allocate our emotional energy. It's about not letting the external environment distance us from our internal dialogue, which is what truly determines our lives. As Marcus Aurelius would say, we should not allow the opinions of others to disturb us. We must act according to our own conscience. The concept of corresponding and proceeding with integrity is deeply rooted in the belief that much of our life is based on this. Learning and personal growth arise from observing and reflecting on the lives of those who have prevailed in virtues. Our goal of developing by emulating wise people is not to copy them, but rather to learn from their experiences. Example to enhance our personality and discernment, as mentioned by the emperor in his writings. Greatness lies in being a replicant of the most remarkable, even when being an emperor. Marcus Aurelius was accustomed to expressing his admiration for the qualities of others, both from the past and the present. He perceived the imitation of these figures as a means of internalizing their strengths and virtues for himself and others. For the Stoics, wisdom was not limited to theoretical knowledge, but also to a practical guide. This practice of living well can be better understood through the actions of those who implemented these principles. Choosing whom to emulate is an effective strategy in the context of Stoicism. Choose those who embody the Stoic principles of wisdom and courage, justice and moderation. Moral excellence is not a divine gift, but the fruit of continuous effort. Marcus Aurelius, in Constant Battle, highlights the importance of persistence in the pursuit of virtue. The models can be current historical figures or even characters from stories and literature that illustrate the representation of a specific historical period. Characteristics such as resilience, ethical integrity, and logical reasoning are fundamental in finding people whose lives offer a roadmap to overcoming obstacles with grace and resolve. Today, the principle demands a thoughtful selection of role models to follow, whose principles resonate with our aspirations. It's more than just admiration. It's about observing critically. These people dealt with their adversities, made ethical decisions, and showed bravery in moments of hardship. By acting this way, we not only strengthen our personal character, but also reinforce our own personality. We prepare ourselves more effectively to face the complexities and challenges of life. Absorb good influences to navigate through life and make choices. Dealing with diversity is an activity that motivates us to question which elements of the perspective or mindset of this approach are most relevant. A person can incorporate my life to improve my behavior and decisions, as Marcus once said. Aurelius. The best response is not to act like your adversary, moreover, to follow the example of your enemy. Helps to bridge the gap between abstract philosophical concepts and everyday actions, providing a practical demonstration of how historical principles can be applied, according to the words of the emperor. Roman, love those who criticize you for pointing out your mistakes. This is not foolish. Not only does it make these ideals more feasible, but also more persuasive. once we perceive their relevance. The tangible effect of historical virtues on the lives of the people we love. By seeking and imitating wise individuals, we participate in a dynamic process of learning and personal improvement. As Marcus Aurelius used to say, the obstacle is the way as a point of view, proactive for personal growth, which reinforces our commitment to evolution and excellence. By basing ourselves on the influence of virtuous people, we set a high standard for our personal conduct. Actions driving us towards the goal of becoming wise individuals. Our goal is to find individuals who exemplify the Stoic virtues of wisdom, courage, justice, and moderation, can help us maintain focus and integrity on our journey. Moreover, we can learn from those who have already faced similar challenges. By facing adversities with grace and resilience, we gain valuable insights on how to tackle our own obstacles. The influence of good role models not only inspires us, but also provides us with practical tools to implement the teachings. We can identify Stoic principles in our daily lives by observing and reflecting on their actions. Effective tactics to preserve serenity, fairness, and focus, even in adverse situations. In summary, being surrounded by good influences is an effective strategy for facing more challenging situations. A fundamental element for personal development and personal growth. By absorbing knowledge from the more experienced and incorporating it into your life, we become more resilient, wise, and prepared to deal with the challenges in our lives. Self-criticism is the ninth lesson that life offers us. This principle is not limited to that. It is not limited to merely recounting events, as Marcus Aurelius once stated, but also requires a thorough and thoughtful analysis of them. Reflecting on a person's thoughts throughout the day involves evaluating whether those thoughts are valid. Behaviors are in accordance with Stoic values and virtues such as wisdom, justice, courage, and prudence. Moderation, for, as the emperor said, virtue resides in acting according to the divine law. The essence and reason of this introspective process are vital, as it acts as a feedback loop that aids in personal growth. Stoic self-criticism helps us become more intensely aware of our actions and decisions, not just an exercise in self-reflection, but a crucial instrument for self-development and personal evolution. Marcus Aurelius also emphasized this aspect by declaring the true truth. Joy lies in living in harmony with reason and nature, rather than seeking pleasures. Practicing self-criticism involves setting aside time, preferably at the beginning of the day. When the end of the day comes to reflect on the actions and choices made, ask yourself the question, did I stay true to my principles and act with prudence, justice, and moderation? How can I improve this exercise to help identify areas that need enhancement and reinforce behaviors that are already in place? Self-criticism is aligned with Stoic principles, in addition to fostering a sense of individual responsibility. It promotes constant development by identifying our mistakes and striving to resolve them, cultivating a quality life. This process of self-evaluation should be more virtuous and aligned with our innermost values. It is not seen as an unfavorable criticism, but as a chance to learn and evolve. In summary, the practice of self-criticism is essential for those who wish to live according to principles. It helps us maintain a high level of morality, constantly improve, and lead a fuller and happier life. Intelligible and relevant Lesson 10. Experience is the cradle of science. The principle does not involve focusing on mistakes or submitting to criticism, but rather observing and making adjustments. It's about learning, with daily experiences and using that wisdom to constantly improve. This technique was used as a means to ensure that he was not only fulfilling his obligations as emperor, but also his personal duties. Additionally, as one evolves as a philosopher and individual, incorporating this practice into contemporary life can be extremely advantageous. It encourages us to end each day with a moment of serene reflection. During this period, you can engage in a calm reflection, asking several fundamental questions. How did I react to challenges currently? According to my principles, there were moments when I lost control, and why? Regarding these issues, it aids in the development of an expanded self-awareness and guides towards a more deliberate and intentional life. Moreover, these questions aid in the development of a higher self-awareness, This practice can promote a sense of tranquility and fulfillment at the end of each day, enabling one to deal with any thoughts, persistent thoughts or stress, facing them directly instead of pushing them away. The next day can be particularly powerful in our frantic world, where everything happens quickly. It is common to lose sight of our deeper goals amidst the distractions and daily pressures when doing a sincere review of our objectives. In your day, you take on a form of self-responsibility that is kind, but also responsible. It involves identifying your strengths and pinpointing areas that need improvement without judging. This historical habit strengthens resilience and wisdom, as it empowers you to be both the learner and the master on the journey of your existence. Constantly reflecting on your own experiences and striving to embody the qualities that define character. Over time, this practice can change not only the way you perceive your days but also the way you live them. Life aligns more and more deeply with the principles you cherish. I sincerely hope that this message has been helpful, and I would like to sincerely congratulate you for sharing. By reaching this point and finishing the video, it indicates that you are interested in improving yourself as a person. If you like the video, leave your comment below. If you don't know what to write, comment with gratitude so I'll know you're being thankful. If you haven't subscribed to the channel yet and haven't watched until the end, what are you waiting for? Subscribe now and join us. Stoicism is full of lessons like this that apply to our lives. Therefore, I encourage you to continue learning about this philosophy in your daily life. Here are 2 videos full of Stoic wisdom, so you can stay committed to learning until the next post.